How does that look and sound, Jaime?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right, great. I gotta change where your voice is coming from. Can you say something again?
Hi. Hello. Testing.
Let's see. All right, say something one more time.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Okay, that's better.
Okay.
All right, guys, we're ready to get started. Talk about the Summer Accelerator. Welcome, everyone. My name is Tom. I'm the program director for Business Ventures. Many of you I know already, but people I don't know, welcome. It's nice to see you. Good to see you again. So we're here to talk about the Summer Accelerator. So imagine you're at the beach, there's palm trees swaying in the wind at your feet, the sand. That's not really what the Summer Accelerator is. Dream on this cold day. So before I even get started about the Summer Accelerator, this doesn't even work. All right, I want to tell you about coming up on February. Other entrepreneurs and innovators at BU, as well as in the Boston and I guess even bigger than Boston area, because we've got schools from New Hampshire through, we've got UMass, we've got UNH, we've got a bunch of other schools that actually send bus loads of students to the conference as well. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. We've got great keynote speakers. How were the Ignite speakers this morning? We've got student speakers called Ignite speakers that we're practicing here this morning that have awesome stories. They're ready to share their stories with you. So come and you can register using the QR code, or you can go on our website too and register for it on February 11th. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, so this is still not working. Jaime, can you see the screen? Can you see the slides?
Yeah, the agenda.
All right, it seems to be working. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay, so first off, love doing introductions. I'd love to hear a bit more about you and your ideas. For the staff that we have in the room, I'll have you guys introduce yourselves as well. Then we're going to talk about the accelerator. What are the requirements to get in? What does the application process look like? What are our expectations should you get into the program and decide to do it? And then we'll do Q&A. So we'll spend about the first half an hour with me trying to do as little talking as possible. Then we'll get to some participants from the Summer Accelerator from last year. So you get to ask them questions. We'll have 2 people online and 2 people here. And then the last half an hour is really for a lot of other questions that I have about the program, things that I don't cover. Sound good? All right, so let's actually have you guys introduce yourselves first. So I'll mix it up because he's not looking at me right now. Justin is. All right, so let's do introductions around the room first. Justin, who are you? What school? And what's your venture?
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Justin Ardell. I actually just graduated from Western last semester. Maria, Jack, and I have been working on Sharing Ground last semester. That's still here, very much here to build lab. We have a new venture, kind of only right here. It's called Stanch and Saver. I'd love to go into it. It's pretty far along, but yeah, it's a mountain bike accessory.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. Maria, you want to go next? Awesome.
Jack, it's Westrom, undergrad, finance, and graduate.
Make sure you speak up so everyone can hear you in the room, all right? Got it.
Hello, I'm Josh. I'm a first year studying computer science, and I'm working on a project called Points. And if you're going to IdeaCon, we'll be able to figure out what it is.
Right now. I'm going to idea.
Hi, I'm Diego. I'm doing a law degree at Westbrook, an MBA and MSc. I'm creating a startup platform to help low-income people in Latin America start a business that are having an idea of what to create it. And I'm very happy to be here with that.
Awesome. Welcome. You.
Hi, my undergraduate program is I'm doing the master
Great. And are you working on an idea? Did you say what you're interested in? Got it. Okay. Marketing related.
Hi, I'm Shay. I'm in the graduate school of science, arts and sciences. My major is neurobiology. I'm a doctoral student. I'm in my 4th year. Expected to graduate in 2025. And I kind of have an idea that has to do with the environmental consulting. And developing the technology, but it's not as sophisticated as their idea.
It's okay.
It's in the process.
You're in the right place. In the right place. Great. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Jasper. I'm a junior in College of Engineering, and my project is going to be for gym-based platform that will aid coach gym with their students. Awesome. Welcome. And, my name is Devin. I'm currently a graduate student at the College of Engineering, studying materials science. I'm planning to graduate in 2024. As for my idea, I kind of leaning towards something with space, robotics, and materials. I kind of need to go for the IdeaCon too to finalize that. But yeah.
Excellent. Good idea to be at IdeaCon if you're in that boat.
Hi guys, my name is Ayan. I'm an engineer. And, so my idea is basically a social network. It's basically an app or a social network that can be used to meet people, but like with friends.
Great. Welcome. So Jaime, you're online. I know you're probably having a little trouble hearing us, but we can hear you very clearly. So want to introduce yourself? Tell us about your name, college, what program you're in, and a little bit about an idea you're working on.
Right. So hi everyone. My name is Jaime, Westrom 2022 alumni. And in a nutshell, I'm working on a social impact venture that help businesses and economies manage and adapt to climate change risks.
Very cool. All right, welcome. Good to have
Thank
you
you.
online. So
Thank
let's actually, I'll let these guys get settled. Katie, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Quigley-Muller. I'm the program director for social entrepreneurship here. I'll be running an incubator program at the same time as this, but we'll also be supporting the teams that join us for the Summer Accelerator. So the 70 semesters around the summer.
Great. Thanks, Katie. And Nana.
Hi, everyone. My name is Donna. I'm the program management program. And I also will be supporting you with some accelerator part of this. So.
Thank you very much. And so we have, thank you very much for being here, guys. 2 additional Summer Accelerator participants are going to be joining us online in a little bit. But George, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm George. Been working on more content for the last year and a half almost. Between several competitions here, the innovation pathway, and had a basic experience similar with the accelerator. Learned a lot, had a great cohort mates.
Thanks, G.
Hello everyone, my name is Sweet, and I just graduated last semester from vacation college. Me and my team are currently working on a second marketplace that is aiming to provide platforms and softwares for retail stores to grow their online marketing and sell more of their products. And I went Summer Accelerator last summer, and it was
Awesome. Thank you guys for coming again. And by the way, I think both of you have done the new venture competition and the innovation pathway, or are doing actively right now. So we're only going to talk about Summer Accelerator today, but just know there's a whole bunch of other programs that you can participate in too, that come with coaching, mentoring, funding, skill building, kind of whatever you're looking to do, entrepreneurship related. We probably have something for it. So first off, we're going to talk about the accelerator. What is an accelerator? And I totally messed this up because I like to do the surprise, what's an accelerator and have this animate on. But this is what an accelerator is. What actually an accelerator is a time-bound cohort-based program. So ours is 10 weeks long. We get a cohort of anywhere from 10 to 12, 13, sometimes teams together. Over the summer, we give you a little bit of funding, hopefully enough to basically buy your time for 40 hours a week. So you can focus on your venture idea and make a lot of progress. Sometimes people have a part-time job, that's okay. But the money is basically a stipend to buy your time so you can focus. You bring the idea, and it may be somewhere over here. There's a lot about the idea that makes it an idea and not a real business yet. There's things that we just don't know about business that we want to figure out. And so when you come to the accelerator, come with your idea and your team. And we supply the training. So we've got a great curriculum. We've got a lot of coaches and mentors come and help you out, give you feedback, give you some advice. And I actually missed the bucket. The money is actually an important part, right? The money buys the time. That enables you to focus on the idea, right? So these components come together to hopefully end up in a place where you have a validated business model, which is you understand, I think there's a need here. I think I understand who specifically needs it. I think I understand how I can get to that customer. I think I understand how to make money. And I think I understand how to grow this business. So hopefully you leave the accelerator with that. What do you guys think?
You
All right.
along the way, so we don't get all the way validated.
Yeah. So one of the things that we'll talk about, maybe see what questions you guys have, is how hard is that? It's hard. All right, so I'm going to zoom through. So what do we do in the accelerator? Well, there's a lot of time in workshop sessions where the goal is to spend that time in actually working on the venture idea itself. So my hope is that it's different from a classroom experience in that you're actually just working on your idea and you're creating something that's really highly applicable. You're going to spend a lot of time with coaches and mentors. And ultimately, what we're trying to do is align it to those outcomes so that you are here to learn really if there's a need for this business idea, for this product. And again, who needs it? Who's specifically looking for a solution? How do you make money? What's the business model? And can it scale? I also hope that you learn a lot about yourself too, because the reality is not all of these ventures are going to work out. And you're probably going to use this experience, if it doesn't work out, to go get a job. And hopefully this process helps you understand something about yourself. And gain some really valuable skills that you can communicate to your future employer to get the job that you really want. So what do we actually look for in the Summer Accelerator? We do look at your business idea. You're going to apply and we're going to ask you about the business. But what we're really, really looking for is something about you, actually. How passionate are you about this idea? Are you really willing to spend 40 hours a week? 40 hours a week is kind of the minimum for this, right? But it's a big commitment. So I want to know how passionate you are about this idea. What's your connection to this problem at the time you solve it? That's the thing that's going to sustain you through the tough times. And it's going to be hard. We want to know that you're really committed to the Summer Accelerator because we're going to pull together lots of resources to support you over the summer. I want to know that you're really in it too. You're coming along with us. I hope that you will contribute to the community as well. This is a cohort program. So you get a lot of value, like George said, of just meeting the people in this cohort, spending lots of time with them and building the relationship with them. Those are your entrepreneurial peers. They're going to be your buddies who you call and ask for help when you're in a tough situation, because they're also going through it too. And lastly, we can only give you so much. And we try to give you as much as we can. But I really want you to be proactive and go seek out the things that you need, whether that's asking us for help in getting that thing, or if it's just going out and getting it on your own. Right? So this is actually what we're looking for. We ask you about the idea and the application. We also ask you a lot more. We ask you about you. Then, if it looks good, we invite you to an interview. And we're going to ask you questions about this kind of stuff. Right? So it's a little bit different for something like the new venture competition, which I know some of you are applying to. That's a business plan competition. Not super concerned about all of these things. We look at these things because we want to know, is the entrepreneur a good fit for the opportunity? And are they going to take advantage of the opportunity? But because we spend so much time together, we're thinking about curating this community, we're really looking at you and your team. All right, there's some technical parts of eligibility too. So our program serves students up to a year after they graduate. Beyond that, we can't really do it right now. But when you are an alum and you're a year out or more, just keep in touch with us. Let us know what you need because we want to be helpful. We're going to figure out how to better support alums. We talked about the commitment to the idea. We need at least two members who are going to be here full time. Part of that is just productivity. Sometimes you're going to have someone who's sick, can't make it. That's okay. So someone else has to be here to actually work on the venture. And someone else actually has to be here to participate in the workshops, to talk to the guest speakers when they come in and to be a part of the accelerator. So it's a productivity thing. We want all the workshops to be attended by the team. So the more people you can get here, the better. Sometimes I find that if there's a chunk of the team that's not physically here in these workshop sessions, it's really hard to communicate to those other people what you actually did in that session, why it's important. It becomes this game of phone tag, basically. Right? I don't know, I'm missing whatever metaphor that is, right? Pass it down the line. That something is lost in communication when we're saying you need to do this because XYZ, and you're trying to communicate it to other people, and maybe they don't understand why we're asking you to do this thing. So we want you all to be here. And if you've participated in it before, I'm sorry guys, you can't do it again. As much as you would love to do it again.
She just asked me that when she decided.
Sorry, she.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I'll get into the specifics of the schedule in a little bit, but what this looks like in practice is weekly workshops, talks, some experts to come in. We have this thing called a board meeting where you get to keep your fictional board up to date on your progress. So there's a group of people that we bring in to serve on a panel, and they are like our other mentors that come in for office hours and stuff like that. But they're basically going to give you lots of good feedback, and they're waiting for your next update too. So you're going to do it a couple times with that. The first time you do it, you tell them about your business. Then you tell them about your plans too. And the second time you come in, you got to tell them how it went and what you're doing next. So they're invested in seeing your progress. So we do that. We have a dedicated innovation coach that's kind of like your point person to be working through issues on a weekly basis. That person is usually one of our staff members. You get a lot of other perks and benefits. This is just a couple of them. If you're working on a software company, you get AWS credits through this program, the $10,000 stipend, access to the library resources. You get this whole workspace and conference rooms. There's some other things that we throw in there too, like HubSpot credits. So there's more to this list, and we're constantly working on those things too. So there's going to be more here before the summer starts too. Lots of very interesting companies have come through the Summer Accelerator, but I'm going to wait on that for you guys. You guys can tell them about your businesses. This is a sample schedule. It may not look exactly like this, but it's going to look something like it. We usually have 2 workshops on Mondays and Wednesdays. This could look something like a talk from an expert. It could look like something like we're building a value proposition, could look like something we are estimating our expenses for our first year, something like that. We serve lunch twice a week, which I think is a big part. And we do some team building activities too. Speed mentoring is not every week, but it's scattered in there. The idea is you meet with a mentor for about, we'll do like 10 minutes, speed mentoring, 10 minutes at a time, tell them about your idea, they give you some quick feedback, and then you move on to the next one. It's a great opportunity to build your network and also see if you can communicate your idea in a very short period of time, which is hard. And then, as I mentioned, the advisory board meetings that happen a couple times throughout the summer. It's just a sample of what stuff we do in the curriculum. A lot of it is focused on customer discovery, given the nature of where the venture ideas are at, that we tend to accept into the accelerator, is that you need to do a lot of customer discovery. You need to talk to your customers. Those customers may become your first paying customers, which is great if you can accelerate that quickly. But we really want you to be talking to customers. This is kind of the core of it. Everything else really builds off of that, because anything we do here involves you learning from your customers if what you believe is really true. So we do a lot of customer discovery work, which they can tell you about. And I forgot something. Yeah, I'll tell you about the thing that I forgot. I mentioned this before, got to come to all these workshops. I will send this out so that you have links to the application. You can see a copy of the application without actually going in and filling stuff out if you want to do it in Google Docs before you go and submit the application. But then there will be an application link in there as well. So for teams that are in the innovation pathway, ID incubator, or FYIF, first year innovation fellowship, you can do the early decision period, which we're already into. And actually it's this Friday. Oh, that's this Friday. Sorry. This Friday is the deadline for the early decision period. But don't worry if you're not in those programs, because the regular decision period starts the day after. Okay. So you get your application ready using the Google Doc version. You can already do the application. You just can't submit it until the 28th through the 24th. Does that make sense? We're going to interview some early decision folks, and then we're going to send you a decision early. The idea of this is an experiment on our part. The idea of this, we want to tell you early if you want to be a part of the Summer Accelerator, so that you can make your plans for the summer. A lot of people have competing plans for the summer. They're trying to figure out what to do. The goal of this is try to get you a decision earlier so you can feel comfortable with whatever it is you're going to do. So if you're not invited to an interview for this period, we're going to automatically put you into the regular decision pool. Right? So this is not really meant, it's not meant to penalize anyone at all. It's really just designed to help you get a decision earlier. All right. So regular decision deadline, February 24th. We're then going to interview about a month later, about a month, 2 weeks. We have a kickoff barbecue is really the start of the Summer Accelerator. That's a Friday. And then we go right in that Monday, starting that weekly schedule that I showed you, all the way through August 10th. So that's the plan. Make sense? I'm sure you have tons of questions. That's what we're here to talk about now. So let me see if we have anyone else in the waiting room. Not yet. So first, any questions for me? I do want to let George and Chi, we've got Fatima, we've got Sarah joining as well. Any questions for me about the program? Yeah, Friday midnight. 11:59. Yeah.
The stipend up to $10,000. Where are the lower?
Don't worry about the up to. It's $10,000.
So in the application process, are you evaluating the individuals or the idea or the team?
We're looking at the idea and we're looking at the team. If you're a solo founder, we are looking at it. But basically we're looking at the idea and the team. So the bulk of the application itself, the written part, is going to ask you questions about your idea. And that helps us get a sense for the business. How far along are you? Are you kind of at the right stage for the venture, the type of venture that we tend to accept in the accelerator? Have you done some work on it already? We also look at that too. Then the team stuff really comes in the interview process. We try to interview as many people as we can. Right?
What are the coaches for?
So the innovation coach is usually one of our staff. The mentors are pulled from a big pool of people. Some of them are faculty, some of them are guests, like from Greg Stolar's network, from Peter Martin's network. They're just people who are friends of BU and Build Lab who give their time back. So if you're in the innovation pathway, some of those people might be, if your coaches, your innovation coaches for that program. They might also be the people that you see as speed mentors. Right? They're not people that you typically see in the classroom, but they're kind of external to BU who are practitioners, and they are founders. They might be investors. They might be lawyers. That kind of person, typically the person we bring in to mentor. We encourage you to, in these speed mentoring events, to think about building your network for your venture. So we're going to set you up with those relationships with some mentors from the start. But it's kind of up to you in speed mentoring if you want to continue to reach out to that person. You put that back on. If you feel like you made a connection with someone or someone who could be really helpful, that's up to you.
All of the team members have to be in the innovation pathway or one of those other programs to apply with it.
No. So, I mean, presumably you guys are working together, right? So you guys are both in the innovation pathway. So you're fine.
So how many people need to be on the team to apply, or do you just apply as a solo?
We prefer teams. So if you have 2 people, that's ideal. We have accepted solo founders before, but it's not ideal. And I just, to be really honest with you, reserve the right to make the judgment call. And part of that thing goes back to how committed is that person? What is really that? What's the progress? So have they shown that they've made a lot of progress about it? They've been dedicated to the venture. So we reserve the right to do that. We prefer to have teams. So that does not mean go out and sign someone up on the street, right? And please adhere to best practices in team building if you want to access it for founder. So I would say if you are a solo founder, apply anyway. Please do apply. So it's great if you've done some customer discovery. All right, and we're going to talk about customer discovery with the teams that we have here. Did I actually let them in? Sorry, just remind me. So if you've done some work on that, if you haven't done any work on the idea, it's just in the idea stage. But really encourage you between now and the time you submit the application to think about doing some customer discovery. There's a bunch of other events and programs, IdeaCon is one of them, that we're going to run that can help you get the gist of what we're looking for. You can also look at the walk stage criteria for the innovation pathway to get into that program, to get a sense for what are the kind of base things we're looking for. Like a good understanding of your target customer. You talk to the target customer. You understand the problem that you're solving. You have a general idea of what the product is. So we do not require you having launched the service or built the product. A lot of teams that are in the Summer Accelerator don't really have any product or service yet. They're trying to figure out how do they get to their customers that they can test it out with. That's more of the stage that they can do. Does that make sense? All right, make sure I don't leave Sarah hanging. Hey, Sarah and Fatima, sorry for the delay.
No problem.
See you.
Well, if my
right.
Wi-Fi goes in and out, it's because I don't have the password from work right now. So I'm using
we
was it
we can
hotspot?
hear you well. We can hear you well for now. Any more questions before we turn it over to the panel? Technical things, yeah.
I guess more so you mentioned like the product or service, like building portion.
Yeah.
Would you say any of the time, a chunk of the time of the program is spent actually developing the service or product, or more so, I think you mentioned the customer discovery kind of research aspect, but how would you say like the balance between those two?
We want to do more of that this summer. I think for you guys, some of the feedback that I've gotten is people want more time to do that and more resources. So that's something we're different. It's heavily focused today on customer, on developing a customer. But that is the feedback we've got. And it really depends what that support looks like, depends on what you're actually doing. If you're hardware, software, if you're doing a service, that time and the space, and how we do that, is really different. And we take all different kinds of ventures. Okay, any other technical questions before we have some time after, but before I start interviewing these guys? Putting them on the hot seat. All right, great. So I know you introduced yourselves before. Sarah, can you introduce yourself to the group? I know you can't really see anyone. Everyone's kind of like just out of camera range. Why don't you say hi, tell us about yourself and the venture that you worked on in the accelerator.
Cool. So my name is Sarah Hilsheim. I graduated from the College of Engineering in January of 2022. So I participated in the Summer Accelerator this past summer. And I worked on ASHTAP, which stands for the Assistive and Smart Home Technology Access Project, which was a proposed nonprofit venture designed to help people with disabilities gain access to smart home and other assistive technologies, because they're like a group that could benefit, tremendously from them, but it remains relatively inaccessible and undermarketed to that population.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. And Fatima.
Hi, Tom. Can you see me?
I can. Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Hi, I'm happy to see George and Sarah and she and the other cohort. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Yeah, I'm Fatima. I'm originally from Algeria, and I graduated in innovation and entrepreneurship from Boston University. I'm also a Fulbright scholar. And I've been working on zero cash or cashless. I changed the name, which is the payment solutions for underserved market. We are targeting mainly the North African market than other countries in Africa. The Summer Accelerator helped us a lot tremendously to accelerate the process, how to build an MVP, how to test it with the market. And we had access to an amazing mentorship network also. So I'm very grateful for this. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Fatima. So think about questions that you have for our panelists, and thank you again to all of you for coming and sharing your time with us. So Sarah, can you kind of give us the gist of your experience in the Summer Accelerator? Like, what'd you do? How'd you spend your time? What do you think was valuable?
That's a good question. It was definitely very overwhelming because was not coming from a business background, but that actually meant that I learned a lot. And so throughout the process, I was constantly, able to really expand my business knowledge, and it was really kind of invaluable for that reason. We spent a lot of our time, the majority, actually working on customer discovery interviews, did a little bit of prototyping for service structure, looking into options for business structure or whatnot. I think as we were going, it gets a little, you can kind of get lost in doing all the interviews. So, it become like, wait, should I even be doing this the way that we have it kind of planned out? But, you have to think of the interviewing experience as kind of the, you want to look at kind of the median of the whole, consider the outliers, but, they're just individual kind of data points in the whole of your interviews that you want to consider together. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did that answer your question? I'm really tired.
Yeah, definitely. Chi, how about you? How did you spend your time in the Summer Accelerator? What'd you find valuable?
I think, I also agree with Sarah that I always, it's coming from business, background, that I studied computer science and bachelor's and in communication masters. So in this program, I learned a lot of business model and how to discover the customers. And also I interviewed over 100 customers throughout the summer. And also learn more about the customers. So that you give me more chance and understand about the customer that I'm serving, and also how I could better develop a better platform.
Awesome. George, what do you think?
I think it's great. So I won't repeat what they both said, fill in some gaps. Lunch is amazing. So it's important to have, really good people motivated. Really appreciate the time they spent with other coordinates. As a solo founder, you can often get lost, or you can get to the discouraged. You have this community of other entrepreneurs who are going through similar problems is great. Often we don't realize how much overlap there is between very different businesses based on things that are at the same time. Mentoring was definitely a great part. We get a chance, especially in mentoring, you get a chance to talk with 5 or 6 people who are all experts in different fields in about an hour. And I think it's also just a wonderful way to build a relationship with the build that. It's a great community. We have this wonderful workspaces, with fast internet. So it's a chance to have a good home base. And have people who are there supporting there.
Great. And Fatima, how about you? How did you spend your
I
time?
can't agree more. Yeah, I can't agree more. Yeah, it was really helpful because first is like we had the opportunity to share our experience, our challenges with other startup founders. We also had access to like a diverse program. We had like a financial session, we had marketing. So we had the whole toolkit that helped us to move faster and have all the entrepreneurial background to build the startup from scratch. So it was very helpful.
Great. So before I keep peppering them with questions, what do you guys want to know? They're going to be very honest with you about the program. Diego.
What is the current status of your startup?
George, you want to kick it off?
Sure. So I'm continuing along with the innovation pathway. My products is basically looking at how you can have a 4-month treatment plan using second health medicine, using nutrition coaching, physical coaching, that sort of thing, to try to address treatment-resistant problems like PTSD, veterans suffer from sexual violence, and unfortunately, I didn't get to do too much of it last semester because of adjusting the night classes and so now I'm getting ready to apply for the adventure competition and gotten to the stage now where I think I've answered most of the major questions that the mentors, advisors will have throwing at me, and I couldn't quite wrap my head around. So I could start this business if I had money, as soon as I graduate, start now even. But for the moment, what I'm doing is instead of providing psychedelic medicine, legal at this point, providing advice to people and learning as much as possible. So continuing to grow.
And Chi, what's the current status?
Yeah, so since the Summer Accelerator, I worked in kind of interning, worked in one of the local thrift stores, movie stores, which is part of the customer discovery, and also along with those interviews and stuff. So we just launched her store a month ago. I guess a month ago, and then also a pretty simple store on our website for our own platform as well. And then I also did a lot more customer discoveries in other cities in the past month. For different retail stores, talk to people. And I guess my next step is to, I guess, confirm more store owners to join the platform. And it's starting to promote it to more users and find it helpful to.
Awesome. Sarah, what's the current status?
Yeah, so the current status is that we are basically on pause just because I ended up getting a full-time job and was dealing with some health issues. So I had to kind of take the time to focus on, because I had to go through background checks and working through stuff, and I'm finally gonna actually start next month. I'm gonna have a cross-country relocation actually, because I'm from New York, but I'm gonna be working for Boeing actually as a production engineer on the 777 and 777X program. So that's a massive kind of change that I've had to prepare for, but I do plan on continuing with AskShop. And the kind of great thing about my job being what it is that I don't have to worry about conflicts of interest, because unless I plan on like starting my own airplane company, I think I'm pretty good.
Congratulations on the job, Sarah.
Thanks.
Fatima.
Yeah, since we joined the Summer Accelerator program, we have made tremendous progress. We were able to join also Mass Challenge, and we are among the top 5 in the FinTech track. And we will be competing for a big cash prize in February 16 in Boston. Also, we launched our first product. We are testing it with real customers, and we are happy. It feels so good when you have like real customers, even though they are still not paying customer, which is the most important. Yeah, and we are assessing some options to raise money from local and foreign investors.
Awesome. Congratulations, Fatima. Sounds great.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks.
Other questions that you guys have?
I guess kind of for each of you, like, what have you found to be, whether it be the program or just in general, like the biggest challenge for you guys, and kind of your experience in the startup so far, and like how have you found it kind of, I guess, deal with, work around, or face it?
So what are the biggest challenges and how did you deal with them in the venture generally is the question. Is anyone who wants to take it first? Who wants to be on?
Yeah, I can answer this question because this is the biggest challenge for me, is to have the product market fit. If you get the product market fit, you have the market validation, and how we face this challenge, how we deal with this challenge. You need to talk to your customer and do more interviews. The secret is all about knowing your customers, doing more interviews and getting the feedback, and also test, learn, then pivot, because the reality is different from the theory. So you need to go on ground and talk and test the product.
Thanks, Fatima.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else? Take it. Other challenges? Similar or different challenges?
I actually have a different kind of challenge, which I think is probably somewhat relatable to people, which honestly, a challenge for me and my group was just like, it's not like handling rejection as much as like handling people's reactions to things, because sometimes you like don't get favorable reactions to things, which is obvious, but for me it's like I can be so affected by like the one person who says something that's like compared to someone else that like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't go forward with it. And that's kind of not, it's like if you wait for something to be perfect for everyone, then it's never going to happen. But I think kind of accepting that while you want to learn from your interviews and talk and be something that people need and want, you're never going to be that for everybody, even people in your like target audience. So it kind of, I don't know, trying to not let that deter you from continuing.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Sarah. How about you guys?
There are a lot of challenges. I mean, obviously, for my business, there's some regulatory issues. And it means, it's something that's currently legal, so things are coming down the pipeline. So that could, tell the average person who shouldn't be doing this, you're fine. Trying to get a corporate internship and doing all the things you're supposed to do, like standard MBA student. But I've also looked at this opportunity to really do as much research as possible, both on my own, through conferences, through customer discovery, so that I can be as ready as possible when this does turn. Another major challenge also is team building. It's great to be an entrepreneur, but many of those same characteristics that make for a tenacious, hardworking entrepreneur can also be a little bit antisocial, or they can be difficult for your personal life. So, learning how to navigate those things, learning how to be trying to be a better leader by practicing on together, but trying to get that each time.
Chief, what do you think?
I think it's pretty challenging to like. It sounds not challenging, but it's pretty challenging to like explain your business to other people. Most of the time, people from different backgrounds, and you need to practice a lot to make them understand it is about business and stuff like that. I think Summer Accelerator is really a chance for you to get exposed to a lot of mentors, people in different fields, like the board meetings, like the speaker recording, in which you to practice your pitch and practice your own idea, and also how you explain it to others.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's hard talking about your idea and explaining it clearly to other people. I think, Sarah, you said it before too. It's much more difficult than you imagine if you've never really tried it before. Does that help answer your question? What else do we got?
So after the accelerator, there's BU, any other way, or like the very next step after one with that. There's like another program.
We need to be in the innovation pathway if you're not already. There are different stages. I think you have to be at least in the walk stage to have enough of a sense that you're really dedicated. There are other business competitions, so the venture competition is another one. There's kind of discussions that after the accelerator, it's also a confidence to apply to other competitions. With doing social effectiveness, there are many opportunities for that. So it's also about your dedication to the situation. As Tom said, nothing is guaranteed to be successful, and if you have something you're passionate about, you'll probably find a way to make the most of it.
Just to echo George, there's a ton of stuff that we do, and if you're on any of our newsletters too, we try to sprinkle in like ecosystem stuff that's going on in there too, just so that hey, there's a competition, there's this other thing to take advantage of too. So once you're in the email network specifically, and once you've been here and met us, we continue to support.
So how did each of you guys come up with the ideas for your businesses?
You guys hear that online? How did you come up with the idea for the business?
I guess I was just love working and care about sustainability. So I think
And also couldn't find a good platform that meet my satisfaction. So, and starting from there, I looked into more and interviewed more people, and also found a lot of other people have the same like feelings about the current platforms online. So I kind of just want to know something.
Great. George, and then we'll get the online people.
So for the MBA, it's the better part of about over 11 years in the space. So we're an advisor, investor, and unfortunately realized that that industry is very corporatized, which is not to say that we can apply to the funding staff. But oftentimes there's a lack of quality medicine being provided. And obviously nothing is a panacea, right? Something else that's like. But I found that personal research, some travels, class things, some travel abroad, I have really eye-opening, and when you consider how many people are being resistant, really. There's an enormous need for this, and farming solutions, most basic solutions, really able to help people get a quality of life. And then the main focus is for veterans at this point. Now, I'm not a veteran, but I've for a very long time, and it seemed like that was a population that really deserves as much as possible. So action projects.
Great. Fatima or Sarah?
Yeah, for me, I have already like a banking background. So I was working in my domain of expertise, which I highly encourage for startup founders. It's much easier. Then when I traveled to the US last year, I was inspired by many solutions such as Zelle or the Venmo. I said, why not doing something in other area from other places in the world?
Awesome. Sarah?
Yeah, for me, it was like one little thing that was like the accumulation of a bunch of big things. So like I'm pretty heavily involved in the disability community in New York and Boston. In Boston in particular, I participated in the Youth Leadership Forum more than once, which is a Massachusetts conference. I was a peer leader, but high school and transition age young people with disabilities are able to participate in a conference where they learn leadership, self-advocacy skills, etc., and can kind of be in community with other disabled people, which is something that people, particularly those from like Western Mass, might not get to experience otherwise. And it's a lot of the themes of like accessibility, empowerment, and whatnot. And I've also participated in the community transit challenge actually through the Build Lab as well, where I did a huge project focused on like public transportation access for blind people. So my accessibility brain is kind of always going. At the same time, we're also in a massive direct support professional kind of crisis in this country, which is that, you wouldn't know unless it's something that affects you kind of personally or someone in your direct circle, but there's a massive shortage of personal care workers and whatnot due to the lack of payment, labor shortages, etc. And a lot of people have to kind of go without care that they need because of they just can't find anyone, and they especially can't find anyone who will be willing to work for prices that insurance will reimburse. And then a lot of times I was thinking like, how can these things kind of be automated so you can kind of circumvent some of that? And I was on Facebook and I saw a friend of mine who had cerebral palsy say, how do I make my new house a smart home? Because I have my friend who is, in California and he has a smart house, but I have no idea where to start. And I thought, what, well, I have this kind of tech background. I'm really good at using technology, teaching people about it. I have the engineering degree. Why don't I kind of develop something to help people figure out how to implement that, because it's all very decentralized and can be very challenging to figure out if you don't know. So yeah, sorry that was long.
That was great. Thank you guys. I think we got it. Other questions?
What was the thing that like mostly surprised you from like a business perspective? It's like you come up with great ideas, but then making it a great business is kind of very hard. So what was some of the takeaways that kind of really surprised you about building?
Did you hear that online? What were the things that surprised you most as you were thinking about actually making it a business, right? And not just the idea, but from business perspective, like it was either difficult or surprising to you. Anyone want to take it?
Sure, totally agree. Realizing that as much passion as I have for this great idea, you really do have to have a series of building blocks around it. And I think one things I've struggled with and still do to a certain extent is how to you can do networking well, like extend the idea pretty well, but one thing that I had trouble with coming in, and I think I'm a little bit better now, is how to be. It's not so much a business; it's a business skill, but not numbers. But like, how do you receive feedback and take it to follow that path, even if you think that feedback might not be applicable or that someone wasn't paying attention. The chance to really like wrap your head around the fact that you might love what you're doing, and you might think there's a great market, but that you 95% of the population doesn't agree. So, and you can learn skills, with the negotiations that we have, press to go in, get opportunities to talk to people with the startup law clinics.
What do you think, Chi, Sarah, Fatima?
I have, oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh yeah, I have two things, like, one a little more practical than the other, but I guess number one is it definitely surprised me how different the 501c3 nonprofit incorporation process is between states. You would not think that it's that different state to state, but there's a lot of variability in the policies, procedures, etc. There are also, if anyone's interested in a nonprofit, there are also like nonprofit options that allow you to be kind of tax-free that we're kind of looking into currently, that are, I forget what they're called, but basically there's a larger nonprofit that kind of covers all of the bases. And so you have a bunch of small nonprofits who are all kind of legally governed under one big one. I actually work with one that's part of one in New York State. I forget what it's called. If anyone's interested, I can figure out what it is and get back to Tom. But the other thing is just surprised me kind of how gracious people were and generous with their time. Everyone we talked to was really eager to talk to us about their experiences and took the time to give us feedback on our idea and share really kind of personal things about themselves and their lives. And so we really appreciated that.
Fatima, anything to add? Kind of getting surprising things when you're trying to actually make a business.
Yeah, I can say that I was surprised of the tremendous support and help in the US. There is a lot of like incubator, accelerator, learning programs. So I was like very happy to be part of a mini program at the international level, in Boston and also in Algeria. So there is a lot of resources and opportunities for startups.
I think I believe that your idea of your business like as in detail as you could think of at the beginning, because I think along the way I like my understanding of the business having changed a lot, but not changed a lot in details from the beginning. beginning, I had a really general idea about it, and then rather than I was surprised there's the more you learn about the business, the more detail you know about how you would perceive, how you would build, how you would
Does that help?
Yeah.
Something that's surprising to me also, to add to you guys, is just like how long it can take to get a paying customer. And that's what we talked about at the beginning of the Summer Accelerator, is really all you need to have a business. You really don't need all the other things, like even technically, right? You can accept payment from another person for goods or services. You can just do that, right? So you got a business when you're a paying customer. And so that can take you a really long time, take you a short period of time. Sometimes it takes a long time because you go through all these things that they're describing, customer discovery, to figure out what is it that people even want. What really is my business? How are people going to pay me for this thing? Why should they pay me for this thing? How do I get their attention? There's just so, like she was just saying, there's so many questions when you start to dig into it that you're like, well, it's a great question. Let me go figure out more about that. But then the flip side of that is how incredibly rewarding it is once someone starts using or paying for the thing that you've made. That's just a really gratifying experience. Questions, other things? Nana and Katie, did I miss anything important about the Summer Accelerator?
There's barbecue.
There's barbecue. It's true. It's true. There is a barbecue.
The build lab is air conditioned.
All right, so specifically, you should bring layers, is what Sarah means.
Oh no, but also when it gets really hot outside, it's a very nice place to be in the summer.
True, yeah.
Tom, I guess I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have to know, like, do you have to have your business model set when you come to the accelerator, or is part of the exploration of the accelerator, like, what is your model and how, like, do people do that, and do people need to be know their path forward? Exactly.
Yeah, so you don't have to know too much, right? There's not like an incredibly high bar, but there is bar. And I think looking at the walk stage criteria for the innovation pathway, that's the criteria to get into that program, is a pretty good benchmark. That's understanding who your target customer is, the size of the market, it's understanding the competition, and it's having a general understanding of what the product or service is that would meet those people's needs. That's kind of the core of it, that we want to have a good understanding. So like we said before, you don't have to have the thing made or have customers already. That's it. Does that answer the question? All right. So I do just want to end on the folks who've come through the Summer Accelerator. So look forward to seeing your application. Hopefully we can put your logo up there. Send me your logo, George. Just nudging it. Lots of great companies have come through the Summer Accelerator. And again, like I mentioned before, some people decide they're going to continue on with the business and some people don't, and that's totally fine. But we hope you have a great experience in the Summer Accelerator. Make some great connections, learn some things that are valuable to you, and just give it a go, give it a shot. All right. That's all I've got. I'll stick around for other questions. Thanks for coming. And thank you also to Sarah, Fatima, George, and Chi for coming back. Really appreciate it. And good luck with your businesses.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
very
having me.
much.
Good to see everyone again.
Good to see you.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.